comes to, relationship, this topic can be quite tricky, to be honest. I don't really have all the answers when it comes to relationship. I don't think anybody actually has the answer when it comes to relationship as well. I think this is one of the things that actually hindered me from walking away from my relationship when I wanted to, because I had all this identity around being a sexologist, helping people find legacy, legendary love, epic love, and things like that. So, relationship is a very tricky topic. A lot of us, we come with our own experiences, we come with our own stories, we come with our own trauma, and it impacts the way we relate with each other. So when it comes to giving advice to someone in relationship, I feel like it can be quite tricky. It's a personal decision that one has to have. So I separated or divorced my husband, I think about 3 years ago. It's going to be 3 years in June 2026. And we've been together for over 23, if not 24 years. And I've always, been with someone to the extent where I actually didn't know who I was, or I didn't know what it is that I wanted in a relationship. So my partner at the time, I mean, he's such a lovely man. He's the father of my two amazing kids. But eventually, when I turned 40, I had this epiphany of what direction I wanted my life to go. And I wanted to be more bolder. I wanted to show up fully for my desires. I wanted to have more boundaries, and I wanted to really, really dream big. And this time I decided to share that experience, this desire with my partner, and the alignment was just not there. Whereas when I was younger, I actually didn't have any desires. I didn't have any goals. I didn't have any values. I was literally just going with the flow at the time, and it was working so fine. But when I turned 40, I just realized that this is not what I wanted, and I wanted a little bit more. And that's how the whole relationship started to fall apart, because when somebody wants something and then you start to talk about it together and the alignment is not there, the relationships start to fall apart. But when you talk about things and you grow together and you find negotiating paths between each other, because I also don't advise people to have non-negotiable boundaries. I feel like we always have to interrelate with each other. So it's so important. But when you can work with your boundaries together, when you can work with sharing your desires with each other and having a winning plan together, then things start to work out well. So relationship can be quite tricky. It's not a thing that one therapist or one coach can give you an advice on. I think what we as relationship coaches do is we just shed a light and where you want us to shed a light on. Mostly what we tend to do is we just ask better questions. We ask you better questions for you to do your own inner dialogue to help you to come to resolution of where you want to go. We don't necessarily give you advice. No, that's not the job of the coach. The coach is there to ask you questions for you to have an inner dialogue with yourself, for you to be able to get to your own conclusion yourself. And that's what we do. So coming back to my own experience of relationship. So as I said, I was raised very religious. I was taught that, sex was bad and the guy is the head of the families in the Bible. We are the neck and he is the, I don't know, whatever. We have all these terms that I was raised with very young back in Nigeria. And at that time, I've always had somebody just being that head. So I never thought I could have my own desires, whatever it is that I want. I never thought I could have it. So I went into a relationship with that thought of somebody leading, somebody guiding. And of course, when you go to university, when you hang out with people that are well educated, you realize that people have their own goals, people have their own desires. And then when we actually have kids, we realize that we want to have our girls, especially me. I have two beautiful girls, and I want them to have directions in their life. I don't want them to feel like they have to give their own powers away or they have to rely on someone. I'm not necessarily saying that they have to be independent. That's not my own goal. I actually don't like to be by myself. I like company. I like to exchange dialogue. I like to grow with someone. I like to create a project with somebody. So I don't want to plant that into my kids, but I also want them to have direction. I want them to show up in a relationship with value, with content. Then I'm just showing up with no direction and expecting someone to lead. And if that person have their own trauma and is not showing up fully in their life, they are dragging you along as well. So I'm guessing after I had my kids and I realized that they're growing and we were not getting anywhere with our lives, I had to take a stand for my desires so that I can create direction for my own kids. So this whole facade of relationship was something that was the direction of my business years ago. And I literally stayed in my relationship for over 20 years, mainly because I didn't want to disappoint my parents. My parents, they divorced, and I didn't want to be a statistics like them. Also, back in Nigeria, it's always everybody has to have a man. I think we had this shame around being alone, being single, or being a single mom, or not being married. I mean, everybody has to be married. Everybody have to have a home. That was a big one. And then I have two kids. I had this thing of who's going to marry somebody that have two kids, or who wants to be with somebody like me that has two kids. That was another topic. And then I also had, okay, I'm quite old now. I don't even know I'm not old, to be honest. I was like, oh, I'm quite old now. Who's going to want to be with somebody in their 40s and things like that? So I had all this story around it. So eventually, I stayed in my relationship longer than I thought. And when I finally pulled the plug, things have been pretty clear and be pretty good. But with that said, I am somebody that actually love company. So loneliness it's there, and I don't really think it's only me. I think it's everybody's life. It's on the people when I meet up with people. I mean, I'm on the app and I meet up with beautiful humans, but I can sense that a lot of people are lonely, and loneliness can create some mental issues on its own. So I'm somebody that enjoys company. It doesn't have to be a male company, it could be company with friends. And one thing that I've done since last year to start to engage with people, to start to build my own identity um, without my husband's friend, because I wanted to have my own friends, because we both moved here the very first year, 2025, 25 years ago. We both moved to Luxembourg. So we have the same friend group. And some of my friends have married or went back to their country. We both moved to Luxembourg, by the way, 25 years ago. So we had the same friends group. So I wanted to create new friends group because I was feeling a bit lonely and I didn't want to stick with the old friends that we have. Not that I have anything against them. I still hang out with a few of them if they invite me out or if I see them out there. But I wanted to have my own new friends group created from this new identity of who I am, this empowered person that is in her 40s that knows what she wants. So what I did was I went on WhatsApp, I created a group and I added one of my best friends. And I added her in it and I said, this is a group that I wanted to create to start to cultivate new friends. So anybody that you feel like is a match with my energy or yours, you can invite. And then we can keep on building the WhatsApp group from there. So over time, I've been able to grow the group to, I think we have over 30, if not 40 people in the group now, of women from all over the world that are in Luxembourg, by the way. They're in Luxembourg. We're all in Luxembourg. We meet up a few times a month or a year. And also people can meet up individually as well. So this is one of the things that I have done to combat on loneliness. So if I want to go to a movie, I feel like, oh, I don't have a boyfriend or have no one to come with me. And I don't want to go with my girls because my girls are teenagers now. They have their own lives. I just put that movie in the group and ask one of the beautiful girls there and I say, who wants to watch a movie? That I have a movie that I want to watch in 2 weeks. Maybe you're free and you want company, then you can join me. So this been a beautiful way for me to start to combat loneliness and start to meet up more people. Sometimes we do dinners together. Sometimes they come over to my place and I celebrate. We have dinner, we watch a movie together. Sometimes we go to the spa together. If I want to travel, I go to Paris or go somewhere in Germany, I put it in the group. And then some of the girls that are free around that time, we head off to Paris, we drive to Paris. Sometimes if we want to go on holiday, instead of me just feeling like I always have to go on holiday with my kids, I can go with my friends. I also like to actually go on holiday by myself, actually. But sometimes I can go with my friends as well, and I can just put it in the group, and I have people that can join me. So this is a beautiful tip for anyone that feel like, oh, I am feeling lonely. Maybe you're in your 40s, especially us in our 40s. Maybe we don't have a lot of energy sometimes to do a lot of things. We have a full-time job, some of us are running businesses, and sometimes we are really, really depleted and we just don't have the energy to socialize. I want to encourage you to start to plug yourself in, instead of you just staying indoor. I mean, staying indoor is great when you are, when you need to. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but we need to stay connected. So try and find a way that you can stay connected with the world, because we are important, we are desired. I also feel like we need to up those oxytocin hormones inside of us, and we don't always need to get that from a lover. We can get it from our friends as well. So find a way to plug yourself into friendship. Try and reignite your old friendship if they're still there. If not, create a new group of friends. I mean, hang out with younger, beautiful human. Hang out with older, beautiful human. See who's out there for you that you can hang out with. Because I feel like these are beautiful opportunities to meet new people. If you're also looking to date like me, I mean, I'm on the app, but I really enjoy live connections as well. And I believe that I'm building better relationship with men when I go out and I meet them and I can see them. Whereas when we are on the app, we just get this attention deficit. I think I'm kind of already fatigued with the app, to be honest. You just swipe through people and you write a comment, and then the feedback is just really blah. it's just nothing there and it just doesn't interest me, even though the person might be a good person, but because their communication skills is just not there, I'm just not interested, because I love to talk, I like to communicate, I like to engage with people, and I want that person to be able to have something to say, make me laugh, to be honest. Not that I am the one that is just keeping the energy going. That's even quite tiring for me going through perimenopause as well. So if you're looking to date, this could be a beautiful way to have like a wing woman, and both of you are hanging out in the most luxurious hotels, the most expensive or luxurious spas, going to beautiful travel, traveling together, going to some beautiful events together. And then from there, maybe you would have a chance to meet someone as well. So this would be a great tip if you are somebody like me that is, single and looking for a beautiful person. So I don't know if I just hit the topic there. I was talking about relationship, and then I was talking about loneliness, and I went on and talk about how you can start to build connection. I hope this is insightful. This is my second video, and I can't wait to drop the third one soon.